Hey everybody, I am Melissa Leigh-Ann, author of ADHD, the help we so desperately needed, and the founder of the Orange Ribbon Club, a nonprofit organization you may have heard of by now in one of my other videos. If not, I'll make sure that I link it below. Today, I want to talk to you guys about ADHD, ODD, autism, and some of the other behavioral illnesses or diagnoses that your children may have and that you may be struggling with every single day. With the Orange Ribbon Club, we are currently taking on 5 new families. So far we have 2, but we're trying to get 5 families so we can do a case study on some of our techniques and how they may or may not work for different families with different diagnosis or with the same diagnosis as other families. We want to see how you interact with your child and see what we can do to help with some of the behavioral issues that you may be having. Today I want to talk to you guys specifically about one behavioral issue that a lot of parents have told me about, and that would be your early morning routine. A lot of parents, even with kids who do not have ADHD or ODD or any behavioral health diagnosis, a lot of kids have trouble in the mornings. Hey, sometimes we have trouble in the mornings, and you know what? That's okay. We're here to help, so let's see what are some of our favorite tips and tricks for you guys to learn today. So our first one is going to be our 1-week challenge. And I just want you to do this for 1 week. Just 1 week. Just give me 1 week. Now, usually it takes 21 days to create a habit, but this time we're going to start off with just 1 week. It can't hurt, right? It can only help. So a lot of times when you have a child with behavioral health diagnosis or behavioral issues, the main problem is actually not the child. It's not their diagnosis. It's not any of that. And it's definitely not you. It's not you. It's a power struggle. And today I want to tell you about how to just completely vanquish that power struggle, at least for this one thing, and that's the early morning routine. So one major thing that we can do in the mornings, let's see, your child rolls out of bed and every morning they have a huge fit. Every single morning, they have a huge fit. They don't want to get their clothes on. They don't want to get their shoes on. They're breaking stuff, yelling, screaming, and you guys are just fighting in the morning. And I mean just yelling at each other, and it's just going crazy. And I actually have a case like this right now, and that's why I'm going to use that as an example. Let's just say that's how your morning goes. We're going to turn that all the way around. And you're gonna say, I'm crazy because how can I turn that around for you when you've been going through this every single morning, you tried everything you know, you're pulling your hair out. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to set expectations. I want you to set clear expectations, and you may say, I've already done this, it's not working. I want you to do it again. I don't care if you have to write it down, use a chalkboard or a blackboard. My kid wrote all over this one, but use a blackboard, whiteboard, technically whiteboard, anything you have to use. I actually used my refrigerator just a little bit ago when I was going over this with my children. I use my refrigerator because you know what? It's a big dry erase board. So what? I can erase it, I can clean it. So anyways, what I did was I set clear expectations, and my first one was I decided, what can my kids do? So let me put a marker over here on this. What can my kids do that I know that they can do? Can they brush their teeth in the morning? Can they put their shoes on? And how you decide if your child can do a task is if you do it this way. If I give my kid a handful of candy, right? Okay, right, we're gonna get the candy for example. If I give my kid a handful of candy, and yes, I have a whole bunch of these, I have 7 kids, I like to give out treats, even though I'm against giving food as rewards. That's a whole different video or a whole different topic. But anyways, let's say if I gave one of my kids a handful of this, would they go do that task? So if I give you a whole handful of candy, can you go brush your teeth on your own? Now, on your own doesn't mean that you're not standing there watching them, but can they get the toothpaste out and even with your help maybe put it on, but brush their own teeth? Can they put their own clothes on if you've laid them out already? That doesn't take the ability away from you doing it or the help from you doing it. What that does is put them in control of doing it on their own. So you've laid out the clothes. Can they put their own clothes on? Can they use the bathroom on their own? You know what their abilities are. If you said, hey, can you also cook yourself breakfast? Now we know they're not going to be able to do that. Of course they're not. So we're not even going to set those expectations. We want things that we know that they can do. Now the willingness is not in question. It's if they can or cannot. So that's our first one, okay? Set clear expectations of what you want them to do, such as getting dressed, pottying, whatever else that they next. Tell them what your goal is, what their goal is. So let's say I told my kids, you have to wake up in the morning and go potty on your own. You have to, let me see, I have to look over the refrigerator. You have to brush your teeth in the morning on your own. Get dressed, and like I said, I lay their clothes out. Get dressed, me and my wife do. Put your shoes on. We've already laid out their socks. They know where their jackets are at, their book bags. Put your jacket on, do your early morning stuff. Then you have to sit quietly on the couch while everybody else gets dressed. Now, that's really the hard part for them, but can they do it? Yes, they can. There's 7 of them. We don't need them running around the house. 8 if you count the bonus kid we have. So can they do it? Yes. Have they been doing it every morning? No, driving me nuts. But for the most part, they do pretty well. For so many kids in the house, they do great. I will not take that away from our kids or our parenting skills. So anyways, yes, they can do it. I told them, I said, well, if you do all of those things every day, and once again, I'm not a big fan of this, but I'll give you 1 piece of candy, and it doesn't have to be this one. We've got Reese's and whatever else. They can have 1 piece of candy if they do that one thing, and then they can also have 30 minutes to 1 hour of TV. Now, initially, we told them you can have that when you get out of school. You can have your candy on the way to school, and you can have your TV when you get out. I think it's kind of pushing a line because they're not going to really remember necessarily that, oh yeah, I get that, and it's not an instant reward. It could be because they're getting that candy. So honestly, that's up to you. But what I told them was, I tell you what, we're going to wake up at 6 a.m. every morning instead of 6:30. That way you have time to get ready, and then you still have, it's your choice whether you get dressed quick enough and get quiet quick enough to go ahead and get your 30 minutes of TV or hour of TV before school. So I'll do my part by waking you up early. I'm putting the control in your hands. This is not a power struggle. If you want this, you're gonna do this. The control is all on you. You have to do these things. You know you've got to do them to get to whatever it is, your candy or your TV. So I'm gonna sit back. I've already, I'm gonna watch you do it, but I'm not gonna nag you. I'm not gonna talk about it. You already know what you're supposed to do. So we're not gonna keep going on about it. You do that, this is what you get. So you can do it for free just because I ask you to, or you can do it for a fee. And that's something that I learned from another video. I'm actually gonna link this below because I really love this. So the fee would be, if you don't do this, well then I get to eat your candy and you don't get your TV. And that's fine, we can do that. But we're gonna focus on them doing this first. So let's say they're running smoothly, they do this, this is their reward. This is what they're gonna get. Their 30 minutes of TV before school or their hour of TV, however long it takes them to get ready, up to them. And then we're gonna move on from there. But let's say they have a meltdown in the morning. Let's say, for all intents and purposes, that meltdown takes about 15 minutes to get under control. So they've just lost that few minutes of time while everybody else is sitting down watching TV. They've just lost some of their TV time. So they're gonna understand that there's the balance. There's a balance there. You either are gonna do what you need to do and you're in control of that. You're gonna do what you need to do to get what you need, what you want, or you're not. And if you don't, well, guess what? You just lose it. And now when you're making consequences for them for not doing what they're supposed to do, make sure that you give them 2. you need to have two consequences that you're okay with. I'm okay with them not getting their TV or their candy. I don't care. I'm fine with that. Cool. I'm also okay if they're not going to do that. Well, then let's see, when they get home, they're not going to have TV. Or if we need an instant consequence, if you're not doing this, you're going to lose the TV and your candy. And I'm going to make you hold hands or do 20 jumping jacks or whatever it is I decide to do. Usually with our, we have a game board that I created called Race to Discipline. So we actually have a little thing like this with turning cards on it. And the race on cards are cards that are good for them. I'll show you guys that in another video, but they're good for them. That means they're doing a good job. And they pick one, they're like baking with mom or $2 or Robux or whatever they're called. Anything they want that's in there, if they pick it for the race on card, that's what they get. Fuel up cards is when they've done something, not so good, or I don't want to say bad, but something negative, and they need to stop what they're doing and have an immediate consequence. They need time to think about that. And we did that for positive discipline. So I'll actually probably make a whole nother video about that because I think you guys will actually love that. And what the stop, think, and decide is in my book, ADHD, the help we so desperately needed, you will find this stop sign here. And we actually have a replica of it in our house, and they even implemented it at school. So we actually love this. This is great. So let's say they're not having a great morning. When you first wake them up, they are grumpy and they don't want to get up. Okay. Well, we've already talked to our kids about this, so I'll tell you this. We told them that you're going to stop what you're doing. You're going to stop thinking for a second. You're going to stop moving. You're just going to stop. Stand still. Okay? Then we're going to move into the next stage, which is thinking. I don't know if you guys can see this very well. Think about what we're doing. And during this think step, this is more like a regroup. This is a regrouping ourselves, and we're going to breathe. I know you guys are probably tired of hearing that, but breathe. This is going to de-escalate yourself, your brain, and give you time. Well, not us. Give them time to get themselves under control for them to move into this next step. And I'll go into another video where I really explain a whole lot more about stop, think, and decide. But for now, this is going to give them that time that they need to move on to this next step, which is to decide if they want to do good or they want to do bad. Do they want to make their morning great and finish doing what they're supposed to do so they can get the reward that they deserve, or are they not and they're going to get the consequences, which is the fee that they're going to have to pay. So for free or and I forgot to say this before, but when you're giving them the expectations, make sure that you ask them, do you think you can do this? So I had brought all my kids in the kitchen and I said, do you think you could, raise your hand. Don't jump around, just raise your hand if you think you can do this. Do you think you can brush your teeth? And they all raise their hand. Okay, we know we can do that. Can we all get dressed in the morning? We can all do that. We can all do that. So that's something that they can do. So can they put their own jacket on? Everybody raise their hands. Of course they can put their own jacket on. So they know what they can and cannot do. And this sets a precedence for you because they're in control of if they do it or not. You're not in control of their actions. As much as we would like to think we are, you're not in control of their actions. You cannot control if they have a fit or not. You can control how you react, and you can control the consequences. Whether you're going to need to be okay with those consequences. Remember, 2 consequences. Am I okay with both of them? Yes. Yes, I am. So, anyways, make sure that you ask them. And then you say to them, so you know that if you don't do what you're supposed to do in the morning, then this is what's going to happen, right? And then you ask them again to repeat it back to you. Well, if you don't clean your room when you get home, what's going to happen? I'm going to lose my game system. Yes. So that means that they know and they understand the rules and the consequences. So that's going to help you out, and it's going to take a lot of that power struggle away. Actually, it's going to eliminate that power struggle, at least for this particular thing, because that's our goal, is eliminating it for this. Morning routines and evening routines. So when they get home from school and when they're going to school. Eliminate the power struggle, and you stay calm. Keep calm. Because when mom's smiling, they're thinking. And I also got this from that video as well, so I'll make sure that I link that because that guy was really good. You gotta give it a second because I didn't like it at first, but then I started listening and I was like, okay, I do kind of like this. So he actually, I think, said that he takes his some of his videos from Parent with Love or something like that. I will put them in the link too, just so you can go see some of their stuff. I know that they write books. I don't think it's called Parent with Love. I think it's called Love and Empathy or something like that. But either way, I'll link that below. So anyways, make sure that you repeat that back, have them repeat that back to you, and that is gonna eliminate that struggle. You stay calm. You already know what they're supposed to be doing. It's your job to just sit back and just watch. And don't nag them. Don't be overbearing. Don't keep saying, oh, next step is to get dressed. They know. Let them kids do that. They know what they're supposed to be doing. Let them do it. Let them build the trust that you need. It's not your job to get them to trust you. You need to trust them so they can have more control, because the more you trust them, the more control that they can get. And that's what they really need, is they need to have some sense of control, because they're little people as well. Who are going up to be big people. And so the more control and the more maturity they have, the more control we give them. So for instance, with my 12-year-old daughter, she may go to sleep. I may let her stay up till 10 o'clock, which is kind of late, but I let her stay up till 10 o'clock because I know that she can handle doing everything she's supposed to do for the most part, besides cleaning her room. She can do everything she's supposed to do at, you know, a decent hour, get everything done, and still do what I need her to do and what she's supposed to do at school. And so I give her that freedom. I give her that freedom, and I show her that I trust her, and I give her extra room to grow because she needs that. With the little ones, they go to bed at 8 o'clock because I know I cannot trust them to do what they're supposed to do. I know that if we stay up past 8 o'clock, if we stay up till 9 o'clock or even 9:30, sometimes even 8:30, that they're gonna abuse it, they're gonna get hyper, rowdy, and they're gonna be doing way too much. And I'm not okay with that. We're not okay with jumping around in the house and all that. We're not doing that. So they have to build trust with you. So you sit back and you let them do this, and don't nag them. Just chill. Let them do what they're supposed to do. And I promise you that they're gonna surprise you, and you're gonna surprise yourself. And don't forget, if they're starting off and it's a bad day, just remind them, hey, don't forget to stop what you're doing, think and decide. Don't forget your stop sign. And I will even give you guys, if you want to email me, I'll link my email below. Email me if you want to get a blank copy of this. I'll show you what it looks like. Let's see. It's right here in the back of here. It's in my book for everybody to color. It's interactive. So right here, right beside the about the author, you've got this little stop sign, and I'll email you one of these. If you send me an email, I'll link my email address below. Send me an email, you can get one of these for your house as well. And if you want one in color, just tell me you want one in color, I'll give that to you free too. If you enjoyed this video, let me know. Like and subscribe below. And if you have kids who you're having trouble with behavioral issues wise, who maybe do or don't have a diagnosis, let me know, because the Orange Ribbon Club is definitely looking for case studies so that we can move forward in figuring out how we can help families live their best lives together and live in wellness. That's our goal, is to live in wellness and change the stigma. So if you know somebody who might need a help from us, let us know. Visit theorangeribbonclub.org or just email me below. I'll link it below, and let me know what's going on with you or one of your special friends. All right, as always, don't forget to meditate, because your mental health is important to you and it's important to me, and the mental health of your kids too. Don't forget that. But definitely yours, because they can't be well if you're not well. All right, everybody, till next time.